everybody, my name is Deb Reimer and this is Music Makers, the show that's all about original music and the artists that make that great music. And today I'm very happy to have the wonderfully talented Ashley Way and Louis Rudner in the studio with us today to talk about some of their music. So just to start out, Ashley is a multi-award winning Canadian singer, songwriter, and pianist. Yeah. And she has 3 critically acclaimed albums that she produced to her credit. And then back in 2021, you released Hummingbird, which I'm just going to show everybody, which is entirely original music. And of course, it's one of my favorite albums. You're very highly regarded in the industry for your playing, your writing, and how you sort of move seamlessly between genres, because all of your music's a little bit different.
That's true. Genre bending.
Genre bending, I like that.
Yes.
And Louis is a diverse musician who studied with some of the bass greats in the music industry. Rodney Whitaker, Victor Wooten, just to name a couple. And Louis completed a master's degree back in Michigan.
That's right.
Was that your hometown?
Yep, that's the place I grew up.
Great. And personally, he's one of the most sought after bass players on the West Coast right now. So we're just thrilled to have both of you here.
Thanks.
And I
Happy
know
to be here.
Just a little bit about you. Besides being life partners, you also play music together, obviously. And Louis is featured on this wonderful CD, Hummingbird. Can you tell me a little bit about, how did you meet and get on this journey together of working together?
I'll start by saying we were given several chances because we met on the cruise ship, and I had a longtime bass player who needed to go home for some personal issues. And so agents are talking, there's thousands of musicians being booked constantly around the world on ships. And the coincidence is we were given 4 chances to meet, and it actually took a special thing to happen. Why don't you tell the story? He remembers all of it a little bit better than me.
The way I think about it is a lot of people had to get fired so we could meet.
Heads had to roll.
Yeah.
I was living in Michigan, just being a musician, playing, creating music, and I was sort of looking for something new to do. And I talked to an agent online, and he sent me some contracts. I said, I don't want to do this. Doesn't sound right. And I finally got one. Took that up. But what had happened was there was a piano player. There was a piano trio on a ship, and the piano player, I don't want to say what happened, he got fired and sent home. And so then they pulled Ashley from another ship from another part of the world. Mm-hmm. This ship was in the Caribbean. You got pulled from Hawaii.
Yes.
And they put her on that ship, and then the night before she got on that ship, the bass player went and got himself fired.
Oh.
So then he walked off the ship as she walked on, and then she had a week with no bass player. Well, I'm visiting friends in Colorado. I get a call, hey, you want to do the ship? I said, okay, it looks pretty good. Go home, get my stuff together. And then I come out, and then we met in noon. And I had never been on a cruise ship before, so I didn't know what was going on. She showed me around. We played our first
set together. A couple hours after meeting.
It was a happy hour set. So about 5:30, we're talking to the audience after the set. They said, oh, that was so nice. How long have you 2 been married?
Oh, wow.
Well, we met at noon, so.
Not long.
Not yet.
So that continued for like weeks and weeks and years, and we're still friends with several of the people that were there at that happy hour that night, who cruised with us several times. So it's pretty great.
Wow.
So we ended up here.
You're happily making music now together, and
That's
also
right.
separately. You have your own acts that you work with. I know that.
Yeah.
And, but I love to hear some of the music you do together. And I know that your first song is going to be an original number called 4 on the Floor. What can you tell us about that song?
So I actually wrote that song. I still am. I'm highly influenced by all the Ray Brown trios that have ever been. He's always had I don't know if always, but a lot of piano trios featuring different piano players. And the whole concept of how he builds the trio and his arrangements is a big influence of mine. So Four on the Floor is a tribute to the great Ray Brown trio.
Wow, that's fantastic.
It could be Benny Green on piano, it could be Jeff Hamilton, but those are the two piano players I think in his trios that have influenced me the most. So
Great,
it's a
can't wait
tribute
to
to
hear
Ray
it.
Brown.
Jeff Hamilton's a drummer, though.
Oh,
Gene Harris.
Gene Harris.
That's the one. I'm lucky I found a piano player that likes bass player bands.
Yay.
Ray Brown is the
That's
famous
true.
bass.
See?
For those
It's a
that don't
match
know,
made in heaven.
Ray Brown is one of the most famous bass players ever to live.
Yeah.
So
Great.
I got lucky.
Great.
So we'll open with Four on the Floor.
We'd love to hear it. Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Thanks.
going to be doing some songs off the Hummingbird CD, which I love. And I think the next song you're doing is She's No Lady.
That's right.
So I know there's got to be a story behind that one. So what can you tell us about that song?
So there's 2 stories out there that I put out, and today I'm going to actually tell the cold truth.
The cold hard facts?
Yes,
Uh-oh.
the
Spill
real
the tea.
facts
Spill the
about the
tea.
history behind this song. So She's No Lady. You'll hear me say, I wrote it about one of my best friends, which is true because I have a best friend that fits the lyrics of this song to a T. But the truth is I was on a cruise ship and this guy was cruising with us with his wife for 6 months. He came down and heard me every night, and he wrote. He was a very acclaimed, very famous writer, and he has asked me not to say his name, and he did not want the copyrights for it. But he wrote the She's No Lady, the poetry, and gave it to me on a cruise ship after 3 months of working together. And he said, I wrote this song for you. Don't tell anyone, it's kind of about you. I want to see what you'll do with it. So within a week, I'd taken his poetry and cut out a couple lines and moved a couple lines and then put together the piece. And I love the song.
I do too.
But she's no lady, but a friend of mine.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, let's hear it.
Okay, perfect.
Let's go.
Crazy girl, crazy life, pretty face and stormy nights, stunning eyes and crazy hair. You think girls alright? Crazy girl, crazy life, with pretty face and stormy nights, stunning eyes and crazy hair. I'll tell you a story of a girl I once knew. She'll light up your life as only she can do. She's no lady but a friend of mine. Stunning eyes and crazy hair and outrageous clothes only she can wear. She's no lady but a friend of mine. Pretty face and stormy nights, she'll tell you a story, you'll think the girl's alright. For a name and for a time, pack of lies, she'll be just out having fun. Crazy girl, crazy life, sweet little mix of laughter and strife. She's no lady but a friend of mine. Brings loads of joy and she gets you all confused. Oh baby, baby, she'll turn on your lights and blow your fuse. She'll play with your mind and play with your brain. She'll get you all hot and stop your train. She's a puzzle and a wonderful trick. She's gonna break your heart in 1,000 million bits. Crazy girl, crazy life, pretty face and stormy nights, stunning eyes and crazy hair. You'll think the girl's alright. Crazy girl, crazy life, with pretty face and stormy nights, stunning eyes and crazy hair. As your two souls meet forever, a friend. Wish for that feeling to never end. She's no lady but a friend of mine. She's no lady but a friend of mine. And I'm so pleased she's a friend of mine.
Thank you for that. That was fantastic.
Thanks.
Cheers.
So now, moving right along, we've got Only to See You Again. It's like heartfelt,
It really
beautiful
is.
song. So
It is.
what's it all about, and when did you write it, and how did you write it? And
2003 is copyrighted.
oh, okay.
But it's one of those songs. I have two songs. Well, I have a lot of. I've written over 160 something songs, and a bunch of them are sitting in a vault, and a whole lot of it hasn't been recorded. This is my first all original album, and when we recorded this, we actually recorded 18 of my originals, and so we sort of have one in a vault that we might do. But Only to See You Again, I wrote in 2003. I had a friend that was very, very special to me, a childhood friend, and he had a lot of abuse as a child, so he chose to not speak. He became a mute. He refused to speak and only played saxophone, and so we played music together. It took us a couple years of playing music together and me to blah, 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 for him to eventually be like, Ashley, I think that, and actually like come at me with paragraphs. I was like, oh my God, he's talking. This is amazing.
Wow.
And I hadn't seen him in 5-6 years, and he was about to move to Toronto and come to the same college as me. So I wrote it preempting the fact I was going to see this really deep, profound, intellectual old friend of mine I hadn't seen or spoken with in several years. And he still speaks to this day. He doesn't just speak through his saxophone now. He speaks with his beautiful words as well.
Wow, it's
Yeah.
fantastic.
So I think I wrote it to capture the essence of him, really. And I guess my feelings about him as a good friend.
Only to See You Again. I can't wait to hear it. one of my favorite songs on the album is One More Day.
Oh, beautiful. That makes me so happy.
Yeah, I listen to it all the time.
My favorite are She's No Lady and One More Day.
Yeah. Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah. I love
So
both of them.
how did that come about? Do you have a formula for writing, or do you just, wake up in the middle of the night and write it down?
I do a bit of both those things. That's a really interesting question, Deb, because I do have several approaches that I do for writing. And each approach will have a different result in the sound. So sometimes I just write the poetry, and the poetry is the stream of consciousness that needs to be birthed. And because I write instrumental music and non-instrumental, I feel the process is different for both. Interestingly enough, for She's No Lady and One More Day, the poetry obviously came first. One was handed to me,
Yeah.
and then I reworked it a little bit. But One More Day, the poetry came first, and then I went to the piano and I chose the chords that I felt were the feeling and colors to help transmit the emotion and the message of the song. And the song is very much about an old friend of mine. It's funny, all these songs are kind of love songs.
Yeah.
But I still have only seen her once since she got shipped off to Europe in grade 11. I've seen her once. And so One More Day is actually a story about seeing that person that you just want to see one more time in your life before the end of your life. That person, if you could just sit on a porch and have a conversation and catch up, you would. And so it's about an old best friend I was joined at the hip with her. She was we were like the same person. We've all had a friend that is like our other half.
Your bestie.
My bestie. And it's amazing when they kind of get shipped away to the other side of the world. It's like, wait, I'm half myself less now. But yeah, so that song was a feeling of a song about getting a chance to hang out and catch up with a very old friend I haven't seen in way too long.
Do you write together?
We have.
We have indeed.
We have, and we need to more.
Yeah, it's been a little while. We should get back to that. We both got really busy.
On Catalina
Yeah.
is a song we co-wrote.
Was that on
It
an
was
island?
on Catalina
Drive.
Drive on Bowen.
Bowen Island, yeah. And then we like to do these things, like in the dead of winter, we'll find a cabin in the middle of nowhere and take a bunch of recording gear and just sort of get into a bubble
Nice.
and create things in that world. And it's really nice and really productive usually. But then you come back to reality. It's like, oh.
Great.
So we
gotta
have a bunch of stuff
workshop.
we've written together that's actually not released yet.
That's true.
I'm going to look forward to
We
that.
need to do something about that.
Better go
Thank
dig
you
into
for
the
asking.
archives. Totally forgot.
That's a
Little
reminder.
push to do
A
that.
little push that maybe
Yeah.
that's the next thing we should do. We should do that.
That's right.
But in the meantime, let's hear the next song you're going to do for us, and
Perfect.
your
One More
beautiful
Day.
song, One More Day.
Thank you, Deb.
Shabba-doo-ba-boo-bay, shabba-da-da-day, shabba-ba-day, shabba-doo-ba-boo-bay, shabba-da-da-day, shabba-ba-day. Feeling you, are you feeling me? Hope that you're well and bless your journey. May it be filled with love and good company. Separate for 15 years, I never thought the day would come where a beer on the porch would bring me tears. But here we go, round 2, 3, 4. Each day is a blessing. How could we ask for more? How could we ask for more? So I count to 1, 2, 3, and I look at you lovingly and laugh. And Shabba-doo-ba-doo-ba, shabba-doo-doo-day, shabba-ba-doo-day. Shabba-doo-ba-doo-ba, shabba-doo-doo-day, shabba-ba-doo-day. A river cries and the tears subside. She cries for you and me. I'm sick of all these love songs reminding me of you. But what can I do? All I could ask for is one more day with you. All I could ask for is one more day with you. With you. Shabba-doo-ba-doo-ba, shabba-doo-doo-day, shabba-ba-doo-day. Shabba-doo-ba-doo-ba, shabba-doo-doo-day, shabba-ba-doo-day. Shabba-doo-ba-doo-ba, shabba-doo-ba-doo-ba, shabba-doo-ba-doo-day, shabba-ba-doo-day.
I wanted to ask Louis, I know you play all different types of music, all genres of music, but what's your first love? Is it jazz or is it?
That's tough. I was sort of raised in a kind of limited environment where we only really listened to classical music and folk music, and we went out to a lot of bluegrass shows. It was a big fiddle community.
In Michigan, right?
In Michigan, yeah, that's right. And then what happened? Oh yeah, my father noticed my ears perked up when I heard something at a bluegrass show. It was somebody quoted something in a solo. I was like, oh, what was that? That one moment, it's like less than 10 seconds of music, was like electrified me. It's like, oh kid, I got something for you. And it was, they quoted a Cream song with Sunshine in Your Love. So he started feeding me classic rock records because he was a rockhead, but he got rid of his collection. So that really set off the fire, you know, and got me on this train of different music and studying the blues and checking out rock and roll. That all led me to the jazz thing and the funk thing and all those different modern musics that I like. But I started kind of with this other environment, right? And then all these other sounds were completely new to me. And it changed my world.
Yeah, it's amazing how that happens.
It is.
So in terms of artists, I guess for both of you, who do you really look up to?
It's tough. I mean, there's the greats. There's so many greats. How can you, rule them out? Like Ray Brown, we already talked about. That's one of my
Ray Brown.
greatest mentors. Obviously, he's a bass player, but he's also affected Ashley
Yeah.
in a profound way. In terms of living mentors, it's still Rodney Whitaker is one of my favorite mentors I've ever studied with. Victor Wooten. He's like they're not just musicians. There's not just the way they play; it's the way they live their life. They're almost spiritual leaders in a way, because of their focus and their approach to living. They're very equitable people. Like they care about the people around them, and they're there. I mean, at basis, we stand at the back of the band. Our job is to make everyone sound better, right? So they also live in that way. It's how to get everyone around you to, be healthy and do better for themselves.
That's
Ashley.
great.
That's-
Ashley, have you got a favorite?
Well, that's such an interesting question because I've always felt like good music is good music.
It is, isn't
And
it?
so it's like there's so many genres, there's so many styles that are great. There's great songs and there's brilliant artists, and like you said, it's the heart behind. I like an artist that is fairly holistic, like balanced emotionally with their technical side as well as technique, heart, and cerebral aspect or mathematical. I like a balance for an artist. But definitely if you go back to Duke Ellington, oh, what a man. Nat King Cole, Bud Powell, Barry Harris, Bill Evans, Benny Green, all those piano players. But at the same time, I was always really into horn players as well. So like Clifford Brown is a huge influence, and Cannonball Adderley and Coltrane. And then you get, like, there's a couple Australian folk singers I love. It's a wide genre of people that inspire me for sure. But yeah, the old greats, I always kind of go back to Nat King Cole and Barry Harris and Bill Evans and Keith Jarrett and Herbie Hancock and
Wow, that's
all
quite
those guys. I really admire, I guess that's a nerdy piano player thing, but someone that's really deeply into harmony and can play all those beautiful shapes and play time and leave space. Ahmad Jamal. All right, Ahmad Jamal is my number one.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, you just decided. I love it. That's great. Well, you're both wonderful musicians. We're really, really happy that you came to join us today.
Well,
And
thank you for
I
doing
wanna-
what you do here,
Well,
Deb.
thank you.
This
I
is
really enjoy
amazing.
it, and I love to support musicians and what they do. And I do want to say a big thank you to the crew that works here behind the scenes to
Yes,
put
yes.
these wonderful shows together. And a big thank you to Rogers TV for supporting a show like this. We
really
thank them
great.
very much for all that they do, and John McKenzie. And
Yes,
so thank you.
John.
Thank you, everybody. And we hope that you'll join us next time, and we're going to explore new music and all the original music that's out there. So thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you,
for having
Deb.
See you next time.
Thank you.